you, whoever you are, however you got here, this is exactly where you are supposed to be. This moment has waited its whole life for you. This moment is your lover and you are a soldier. Come home, baby, it's over. You don't need to suffer anymore. Dear you, this moment is your surprise party. You are both hiding in the dark and walking through the door. This moment is a hallelujah. This moment is your permission slip to finally open that love letter you've been hiding from yourself, the one you wrote when you were little, when you still danced like a sparkler at dusk. Do you remember the moment you realized they were watching, when you became ashamed of how much light you were holding, when you first learned how to unlove yourself? Dear you, the word today means amen in every language. Today, we made it. Today, I'm going to love you. Today, I'm going to love myself. Today, the box cutter will rust in the garbage. The noose will forget how to hold you. Today, dear you, and I have always meant you. Nothing would be the same if you did not exist. You, who were once as small as a bouquet, who slept in the laps of strangers, nothing would be the same if you did not exist. You, whose voice is someone's favorite voice, someone's favorite face to wake up to, nothing would be the same if you did not exist. You, the teacher, the starter's gun, the lantern in the night who offers not a way home but the courage to travel farther into the dark. You, the lover, who worships the taste of her body, who is the largest tree ring in his heart, who does not let fear ration your love. You, the friend, the sacred chorus of how can I help you, who have felt more numb than holy, more cracked than mosaic, who have known the tiles of a bathroom by heart, who have forgotten what makes you worth it. You, the forgiven, the forgiver who belongs right here in this moment. You, this clump of cells, this happy explosion that happened to start breathing, and by the grace of whatever is up there, you got here. You made it this whole way through the nights that swallowed you whole, the mornings that arrived in pieces, the scabs, the gravel, the doubt, the hurt is over today. You made it. You made it. You made it here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. My name is DeMulder, and I am a professional spoken word poet. So what does this mean to people who are new to the performance poetry world? Well, it means that I have a closet full of black turtlenecks and berets, and I lie to people on airplanes when they ask me what I do for a living, which is only half true. So, in reality, every day, essentially, for the whole year, give or take, I am performing my poetry on stages in high schools, colleges, universities, writing centers, women's shelters, prisons, farmers markets. I also teach online classes, and I am the co-founder and curriculum director of a summer writing camp for high school students. Essentially, I share very intimate parts of my life with complete strangers every day. And you know what? I love my job. I love what I get to do. Poetry is the lens through which I see and understand the world. This is really cliche, but it is my heart's truest language. And what I love even more than the craft of poetry is the often empowering and cathartic effect that it has on both audience and performers alike. And here's my promise to you right now. I think spoken word can change the world because it changes people's lives. And here's a couple ways how. First, in poetry, to write a poem and to perform it is an act of reclamation. The ability to be able to say your story, to speak your truth, is self-affirmation, is self-empowerment. To be able to say, I was here, I felt this, I experienced this, and I survived. Poetry allowed me to be an active agent in my own healing. It allows us to process the world around us through a creative lens that hopefully leads to more understanding and compassion for yourself. I use poetry to process things in my life. This next poem is for my grandfather, and I wrote it to sort of understand what was going on in our family. Backstory, my grandfather was a fantastic man. He was a college professor. He was a professional storyteller. He was incredibly long-winded. It's probably where I get it from. So much so that he once wrote and self-published an autobiography that he then wrapped up and gave as a Christmas present to all of his grandchildren. And you can imagine me as like a 14-year-old being like, oh, okay, this is not an Xbox or whatever I was into. But even then, I thought that that book was for us, for his grandchildren to know his life. But it wasn't until years later when he was diagnosed with dementia, and there came a time when he could no longer recognize his children or remember the name of his wife, that my family and I would read to him out of his own autobiography. And if that isn't poetry, I don't know what is. So this is for my grandfather. This is your wife, Barbara. That's your son, Scott. That's you in your Navy uniform waiting for that train to come. You always told me that you only chose the Navy because the uniform matched the color of your eyes. Remember? My grandfather coughs. I hand him a water bottle. Over the past hour, we've been alternating between a photo album and me reading aloud to him from his 400-page self-published autobiography. When he fumbles, I open the water bottle for him. Our hands touch, and his doughy eyes look up at me, wet with recognition. On the front page of the photo album is a note from the nursing home staff. In big kindergarten-style letters, it reads, "You have a disease that affects your memory. We are here to help." Look, Grandpa, that's the house you grew up in, the farm. That's your sisters. You always told me that your sisters used to put on extra layers of clothing before milking the cows so the smell of manure wouldn't follow them to school. Do you remember your sisters? His words come out like shy children, slow and hesitant. He tells me he remembers, but he does not say more. I read somewhere that people with dementia might lie or pretend to understand to avoid embarrassment. I try not to think about this and turn the page. That's you and Grandma playing guitar. You always said that she played bad and you played worse. I remember when you taught me my first chord, it was a G chord. Remember? The bathtub is slowly draining, the photograph developing in reverse, all those words just floating about, his mouth an empty mason jar, the fireflies just out of reach. My grandfather picks up his autobiography, holds it up in the air as if handing it to God, and says the most words he has said to me all day. Did I actually write this? I don't remember. If dementia is the body's longest goodbye, then let these be the last memories it pries from your fingers. This is your wife, Barbara. You told me the summer you eloped, her skin was sunburned the color of a cherry. This is your son, Scott. He has your eyes, navy blue. This is the house you grew up in. This is you teaching. This is you playing guitar. This is your granddaughter. She wants to be a teacher like you. This is you. This is it. In the end, this is all that is left. The memories, the moments, the people who will love you to the body's unflattering end. How quickly time passes us by. Just yesterday, it seems, you were waiting for that train. It's here, Grandpa. It finally came. Thank you. Thank you. So, just as important as giving us the opportunity to speak and process the things around us, spoken word also gives us the opportunity to listen, to hear stories and narratives that maybe aren't our stories, right? This is especially important when we consider the more marginalized narratives that haven't been canonized as much. Spoken word gives these communities, these people, these voices, an opportunity to speak their truth. And it also gives the opportunity in the audience member to listen, to learn, to empathize, to understand without demanding that knowledge from those marginalized voices. And I think this is so crucial, right? This is crucial for change, is a space in which we consent to give our story and the audience says, yes, I will believe it, I will hear you, right? I've never thought that spoken word was a one-way street. It's always about the exchange. It's always about the give and take. And with that in mind, for my next poem, I invite you, if you do not have a reason to relate to this poem, if there's no entry point into your life, I invite you to recognize what a privilege it is to not relate to something like this. And I also encourage you, with all the empathy in my body, to maybe recognize ways in which you could become a better ally or advocate for someone who does relate. We are taught from the moment we leave our pink nurseries that we are collapsible paper dolls, light to hold, easier to crumple. That as women, our worth lives secretly wrapped in lace and cotton panties, our fragility armored with pepper spray and mace. They say 1 in 10, 1 in 6, 1 in 3 women will be raped or sexually abused in their lifetime, and I am one of 3 daughters. Now imagine each victim is an acrobat. Her sanity, a balancing act. Our response is the unfailing safety net. We never expect to see her across the wire. You weren't just violated, we tell her. You are an empty museum, a gutted monument to what used to hold so much worth. And with the best intentions, we tell her to reclaim it. Put a price tag on your rape and own it, but don't stand too tall, don't act too strong, we will name you denial. Come back when you're ready to crumble like your bones are made of chalk. You may only laugh cutely or cry beautifully, so cry beautifully, we will catch you. We are calling it theft. As if he could pluck open your ribs like cello strings, pocket your breasts, steal what makes your heart flutter, and tack its wings to his wall. Some days you will feel dirty. Some weeks you'll remember just how hard it is to breathe in public, like your heartbeat is climbing to the attic of your throat only to suicide itself on the pavement. But know this, the person who did this to you is broken, not you. The person who did this to you is out there somewhere choking on the glass of their chest. It is a windshield and its heartbeat is a baseball bat. Regret this, nothing was stolen from you. Your body is not a hand-me-down, and there's nothing that sits inside you holding your worth. No locket that can be seen or touched, ripped from your stomach to be left on the concrete. And I know it's hard to feel perfect when you can't tell an Adam's apple from a fist because some ashtray of a man picked you to play his Eden. But I will not watch you collapse. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And the final argument I want to make about why and how spoken word can change the world is, simply put, spoken word poetry, whether you're a writer or not, can make people across the globe feel less alone. That sounds really simple, but let me continue. In preparation for this talk, I went on Twitter, because I'm a millennial, and I asked my Twitter followers why spoken word was important to them. And I got dozens of responses, really powerful ones, reiterating a lot of the points that I've already made. But the one that shook me the most just said, even when I am not the one speaking, I still feel like I have a voice. And that, to me, is everything. You know, we're taught from society at a really young age to hide our flaws, to conform, to contort, to fit into whatever box people want us to fit into, and to only present the sunny, perfect side of ourselves. Don't ever admit that you have problems. Don't ever admit that you're sad or heartbroken or grieving, right? We don't often make a lot of space for that, especially in a community way. And our insecurities and our shame and our doubt is bred in that. They are bred in this isolation. They want to be there, right? They want you to feel alone. Our insecurities, our bullies, our abusers, our oppressors want you to feel like you are the only person who has ever felt this. And maybe you believe them. Maybe you believe them for years. Until one day you find yourself at a poetry reading or a TED Talk, and you hear someone read a poem that sounds like it came right from your diary, a voice speaking words that could be coming from your voice. And suddenly you realize that you're not so alone in this big, scary place. This is my favorite thing about poetry, its ability to be both a mirror and a megaphone, how it celebrates the individual while unifying the community. Poetry shows us the best parts of humanity and the worst, and the messy, and the sloppy, and the indignant, right? Poetry shows us what it means to be human, which is flawed, but gorgeous, and like the best poems, constantly revised. So I'd like to end with one more poem. This is very personal to me, and it's titled After Googling Affirmations for Abuse Survivors. You have a fundamental right to a nurturing environment. And oh, what a home I have built in my skull. What a dark, savage forest. There is no furniture, no artisan humanity, no gentle place to undress my own thoughts. You are a valuable human being. I think about death too often. I eat peanut butter with my fingers. I pee in the shower. I am a mouthful, not a swallow, not a bird or a name gone sour in his mouth. If you allow yourself to be mistreated, you are teaching that it is okay for others to abuse you. And look at this shining curriculum. The lessons I have been prepping for months. Now, class, take out your inner child. Tell her she is so selfish. Tell her she shouldn't have eaten the last of the truffles. Tell her to take a good, long look at love, her father gripping the throat of the payphone. You do not have to accept blame or assume responsibility for any abusive behavior. I am so sorry, so sorry, so sorry, sorry, again and again, so sorry. He is sorry, sorry, again and again. The conductor lifts her baton and the musicians tilt their horns and the song begins again. You do not have to feel guilty for allowing others to take care of themselves. But what do I do with all this leftover love? My hands were built for crawling on. How do I right myself gently? How do I not worship the shipwreck that stranded me here? You are not a failure or less of a person because you make mistakes. I am not a failure or less of a person because I make mistakes. I write this until my hand becomes a beggar. I write this until the words no longer sound like words, only sounds, and I can believe them now. Your higher power is transforming your brokenness and gently carrying you from darkness into light. I believe in gentleness. Lord, I believe in light. I am my own higher power. I will carry myself out. Thank you very much.